we're so grateful today to learn from you. We're going to be so grateful to learn from you and Suzanne together. So maybe a clap for Josephine and Suzanne.
Thank you. Now, Josephine and I have agreed that this is going to only be 15 minutes because we want dessert. So, what we thought we would do is, I'm going to pose a few questions to Josephine, and then ask you to respond. And we prepared the questions and had a little bit of conversation about them, so they're not complete surprises for Josephine. So, shall we begin? Okay. Next year, St. Jude will celebrate its 30th anniversary. So you have a lot to be proud of. What do you consider to be your biggest achievement since 1993? In other words, what are you most proud of?
Thank you, Suzanne. Yes, as we celebrate the 30 years in existence, one, I'm very proud of the trainings that we've given to different people on food security and climate change. And this covers a big number of women, girls, and children. To sum up, we are covering 35,000 farmers each year that go through our trainings at St. Jude's.
35,000 each year.
Each
Wow.
year.
Wow.
Yeah, that come from far and near to see, to learn, to do with us at St. Jude's.
And then who go back to their communities and share that knowledge as well. Is
And
that
then
correct?
go back. Some of them we are not able to follow up, but the few that we are able to follow up after they visit and they learn from us, we really get encouraged every day, every year.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
I remember you telling us the story about Amelia, who was one of the women you trained.
Yes.
And what really struck me about that story is both the elements of gender issues and climate change that in the work that you were doing with her. And I wonder if you could share her story with us.
Oh, yes. We, in our trainings, we also get some ups and downs, especially when it comes to gender issues. I want to share with you Amelia's story. Here is a lady who is married with 9 children, and her husband works away from home. He stays in the city and comes home regularly. One of the issues that we had with this family was that Amelia is our women leader. She's one of the group leaders of a group of 30 women. And as always, the leaders are those people that work so hard and are always very eager to implement, to put into practice what they learn from St. Jude's, but also to teach others. So after getting down to the campaign of tree planting, this year we had, before July, we had 50,000 trees that were planted. So the campaign was so nice, and Amelia took on, and she started with her farm because we always believe in demonstrating. So she was demonstrating. She had the different mitigation practices on her farm, like tree planting, like contour digging, mulching. So she worked so hard. And one of the things that she really concentrated on was the tree planting. So she planted so many trees around the farm, and she put a demarcation around the gardens, the land that they have. So when the husband came home, he was very furious because the trees were growing very well, and even the ditches and the contours were doing very well. And the husband thought this woman was taking over the land. As always, men own land in my country and in the area where I work. So he was like, this shouldn't be. So he concentrated on cutting down all the trees and covering all the contours, the ditches that the lady had put in the land. And it was a real struggle. They even fought. The lady had no answer. She consulted us, and when we visited, we had to sweet talk this gentleman to ensure that he could agree with what the lady was doing. And we showed him all the benefits. Some of the trees were fruit trees that they could get in maybe 1.5 to 2 years' time. They could have some fruits coming. The children could have some fruits. But on top of that, they could also get some money out of that. In Uganda, when you talk about money, then the men can start hearing. That is when we got him. And you know what? Now he started accepting that Amelia could put back the trees, and because he now knew the advantages and so on. But as a lesson to St. Jude's, we knew that since then we are not doing any program without including the men in the decision making. Because then Amelia up to today is so much disappointed that most of the trees were cut down. But to us, it was a great lesson of gender inclusion.
Thank you. Yeah, we tend to talk about gender or equate gender with women, but gender includes men, and if we're talking about gender and development, then men need to be part of the conversation.
Yeah.
Based on your experience, what makes for good partnership? So we say at PWRDF that we are your partners, you are our partner. What do you think makes for good partnership, and can you give an example?
Oh yes, what makes a good partnership is that partnership that allows the people to own the program, to own the resilience. For instance, when I talk about climate change, the local people know better what resiliences can be adopted and what can be done and what cannot be done. Just based on what I've just shared with you. We didn't know that in the past it was very, very important to have the men and even the children included in the decision making. So in the same way, a good partnership should be that partnership that allows people to own their problems and come up with the solutions that can maybe iron out some of this. That is what I think.
Thank you. What's your biggest hope for the future?
What is our biggest hope for the future at St. Jude is seeing young people included and taking on the task of climate change because they are the future of our country. It belongs to them and it's real. So they should know, they should appreciate and come up with the solutions that can help their future.
And I guess the flip side of that question is, what's the biggest challenge you're facing as you move into the future?
Mm-hmm. The challenge is mainly, the biggest challenge is funding the efforts of getting all these young people to know, first of all, sensitization, they should know, they should own, and we should find a solution together with them. So today, after telling you all the stories this afternoon, I think the biggest challenge that we have is getting funding to reach as many young people as possible so that they get to know, including young mothers, because they are the ones that will carry on the message to their families, to their children.
So the future requires investment. Yeah. Okay. The last question, and I've told Josephine that she can challenge us here. She doesn't have to be nice. Those of you gathered at the banquet will be returning to your homes tomorrow or in the next days. Your homes, your parishes, your communities. So I've asked Josephine if she could provide us with one key message that she would like us to take home with us. What would that message be?
Yes. This message is to all of you and maybe other people that you can be actually be meeting, is to see to it that you can help us in the way, in the fight to have this climate change curbed down by funding the efforts of St. Jude's in reaching to as many as possible, as many farmers as possible. But most especially, I would say, touching the lives of these young girls, that we know if they know and get to know more, that will be enough to reach as many people as possible. So my humble challenge to you is to continue fighting, looking around for possible funding for programs that touch these people. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Josephine. Yeah, I think we need to understand that our stories intersect, huh? And that what the work that you do in Uganda matters, and it needs to matter to us because we're all God's children, huh? And we're all part of the same creation. Yeah. Thank you so much, and we're going to have dessert now.